get started and start testing out the audio for this session. There's a lot of people on the call, so bear with me while we make sure everybody can hear. If you have called in by phone, please mute your phone so we cannot hear you. I can't do that from this point. I can mute your computers, but I can't mute your phone. Thank you, Tim. If you can hear me, please type a message and let me know that you can hear me. Cannot hear me?
Did you find it?
Okay, and just so you know, I hear a couple people on the phone. So if you could try to mute your phone, that would be awesome. Mute your phone so you can hear me, but then I can't hear you. And then if you need to ask questions during the call, you can unmute yourself and feel free to ask whatever you need. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all. Or you can type your questions in the conversation box. All right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And I really appreciate you all waiting another extra 15 minutes. I have to travel to Western Kentucky this afternoon, and I went to go pick up the state car, and there was a line, and I didn't realize it. And so when I got there, I was like, oh, I think I'm going to be a little bit late. So I appreciate you all understanding. Thank you for that. And I will say also that this probably will not last until 3 o'clock because there's really, unless you all have questions, I'll stay however long you all need me to stay, and I will answer your questions. But, I mean, most all of you all are attendance clerks, or you deal with a DPP or attendance, so you know how to record attendance in Infinite Campus. And so I'm not going to go over basic Infinite Campus things with you guys. I will go over a few things. So anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. And I know most of you all are probably sick and tired of seeing my grandbabies here, but I love them so much and they make me happy. So this is Wyatt. He will be 3 at the end of the month. And this is Ava, and she just turned 3 last month. And they are the best things ever. If you're not a grandparent yet, just wait. You're going to really, you've got a treat in store for you. Okay, so we're going to start off with going to our KTS Data Exchange webpage. This is where all the information about the KTS Data Exchange is housed. You can get to it by going to the Kentucky Department of Education's website, and you can usually Google that and it'll come right up. Once you are here, you can go to the top right-hand corner and type in KTS Data Exchange, and then hit the search icon, and whatever results populate in the body of the page, you can click on one of those results and that'll take you to our webpage. Or you can click on District and School Support, scroll down to Technology, and then once the Technology page comes up on the left-hand side, scroll down and locate Kentucky Student Information Systems, and then scroll to the bottom of that heading and click on KTS Data Exchange. I would bookmark this, save it as your favorites, whatever you can, so you can get back to it easier than that if you ever need to. On this page, it talks about the KTS data exchange and what it actually is. It's an exchange of secured data from the students' high school to the technical school. And there are some things that sync and there are some things that don't, just so you're aware of that. And one of the things that do not sync in real time is attendance. And I know in the very beginning of all of this, that was frustrating, and I'm probably certain that it still continues to be frustrating for a lot of you. But I wanted you to know there are ways to work around it, and I plan on trying to show those to you today. So on the right-hand side, under these headings, if you scroll down under Other Training Resources, there is a PowerPoint specific for high school attendance clerks. So you can open that, save that to your computer, whatever would be the most helpful. But it's 18 pages. And I'm just going to kind of flip through it and go over some things contained in this document today. And if you have, like I said, if you have any questions, unmute yourself, ask me, or you can type it in the conversation box. Okay, so first thing, there is the real-time way to find out what attendance looks like at the technical school. And that is through the KTS Attendance Report. So the KTS Attendance Report is located on in Infinite Campus by clicking on Index, then Kentucky State Reporting, then Edit Reports, then KTS Attendance. We have a KTS Attendance Report and a KTS Attendance by School Report. And both of those run the same information. The only difference is like if you are in a district that that has multiple high schools, and you send, they all send students to the technical school. If you run the by school report, it's just going to limit the kids on the report by the kids that are in your school. This report is a real-time report. As soon as the teacher at the technical school saves their posted attendance, it will show up on this report. So you would go, you would select the report, you would select I am a home district, and then you would make the selection for the KTS schools, and then it automatically will default to today's date. And you have some sorting options down here, and then you would select Generate. And as far as what the report actually looks like, we do have another document here that talks about the KTS Attendance Report and assigning user rights, tool rights. So if you are not able to see that report, you have to be assigned those rights by your system administrator in your district. So if you're looking in your Infinite Campus right now and you're saying, I don't know what report she's talking about, then reach out to your Infinite Campus person in your district, and they will be able to add those reports to your user accounts. This document talks about the report, what type of information it will provide for you. Now, I will tell you that this report will tell you if a student is absent. It will show unknown attendance, and it will show resolved attendance. But it will only show if the attendance is absent excused or absent unexcused. It will not give you any specific attendance codes. It will, however, show you comments, any comments that are made on that report. So I'm going to scroll down, and first of all, let's back up just a little bit. Assigning tool rights. So if you do not have this report in view, your Infinite Campus person will have to follow these instructions and assign you to the KTS Data Exchange user group. And once you're assigned to the user group, and this talks about how to do it, once you're assigned to that user group, then you'll be able to run the report. So here are the directions for a home school. So if you are in a home high school, you would select I'm a home district, select Kentucky Tech Systems, select the dates, and generate. And then this is what the report looks like. So the top part of the report is attendance as it has been entered in at the home high school. So what you see, and we have some things blocked out down here in order to protect student privacy. But basically, what you're seeing is you'll see the SSID for the student's name, the grade. You'll see the high school, the name of the school where the student attends. And this up here is the period schedule as it is in the high school. So it shows the date, the time frames. You also have a column for check-ins and check-outs, and you have the comment column. So here's what I was saying a second ago. This will only show if an absence is unexcused or excused. It's not going to give you specific codes like suspended or educational opportunity or field trip or anything like that. It's not going to give you anything specific, but you can, in the comments area, when you enter attendance, you can give more detail that will show on the report. So then if you scroll down further, then there will be an area for technical school attendance. And so as of the time and date that I ran this report, the technical school attendance for Carroll County High School students is actually listed right here. And it's showing the period schedule for the technical school time frames. So if you'll notice, second period at the technical school is, and I know this is small, let me try to make this a little larger for you. It's still fuzzy. Okay, so technical school, the time frame is from 8:30 to 9:42, but then at the high school, it's a different time frame. So you just got to pay attention to that also. But then I also want to make you aware that at the technical school side, this is where I said if they do not resolve their attendance, then it will show up as unknown attendance, and the unknown attendance does not have a resolution next to it, an excused or an unexcused. So you'll just see the regular A, and that lets you know that it has not been resolved, and it's an unknown attendance record at that point. Technical schools can also include check-in, check-out information and comments. Do you have questions about the KTS attendance report? Okay. All right. So I'm going to just move along. If you have questions, just let me know. You end up coming up with something. All right. Going back to the PowerPoint. This further talks about the KTS attendance report, and it gives you a screenshot of it. Methods of attendance entry and modification. So on the technical school side, just let me give you some idea of what their responsibilities are so you understand that. So I'm going to select this document called the KTS Attendance for Technical School Clerks, because there's there's some more information on this PowerPoint that talks about the responsibilities, KTS Essentials, Attendance Essentials. So basically, technical school teachers must post period attendance. It's the law. They have to post period attendance every period. So we require that our technical school secretaries are trained to check to make sure that attendance is posted each period, and we monitor that through our classroom monitor. If attendance isn't posted at a certain time, they reach out to the teachers and remind them, you know the drill, I'm sure. So technical school clerks must maintain check-in and check-out records. So as far as this goes, whenever a kid leaves them, they need to go in and they need to mark the time that the student left. And whenever a kid comes in, they have to mark the time when they left. So I do have a question come in. Does the data exchange not speak to the classroom monitor on the high school side? Good question. That is correct. It does not, and it will never. So whatever is posted in the technical school database, and it will show in the classroom monitor that a teacher has posted attendance, but it will not sync to your high school attendance database classroom monitor. So it's not going to show over that. So your question is, do I have to run this report every period to see who has posted? That is up to you. I have some high school clerks, attendance clerks, that will run it every period. I have some that will just run it in the morning, like after the time that the technical school's first period is, and then they'll run it again in the afternoon. It is really up to you, whatever is going to work best for you. But I do, that's what the KTS attendance report is there for. You can run it however many times you want to, however often throughout the day. And it's because none of the technical school posted attendance will reflect on the high school's classroom monitor. So that's the way for you to monitor attendance at the technical school. Good questions, though. Thank you, Tim. Let's see. And technical school clerks must check the classroom monitor to verify that teachers have posted attendance. Now, technical school clerks should reconcile daily attendance. Now, I'm going to put an asterisk, imaginary asterisk by this, because I want to come back and talk about this a little bit later. They're not required to, like you guys do at the high schools, because we do not submit SAR reports or anything like that. Our attendance is not state reportable attendance. So your attendance in your high school database, yours is the state reportable attendance. Yours is the attendance that will get reported on the SAR and the growth factor report and all of that. So we do not require that our technical school clerks reconcile daily attendance, but they should for various reasons that would benefit their teachers and them, but that's their decision. Okay, high school attendance clerks must review technical school attendance data and enter correct attendance into their district IC database. So what this means is if you choose to not use the Unknown Attendance Sync, which I'll talk about that a little later, then you as a high school attendance clerk must review the technical school attendance data through the KTS Attendance Report, and then you have to enter that attendance into your district Infinite Campus database. And I'm going to go over in a few minutes and show you some different ways that you can do it to help save you some time. Technical school clerks and high school attendance clerks should keep a continuous open line of communication. You guys should have a way of communicating with one another. For example, if you are a high school attendance clerk and you know that you've got a group of 100 kids that are going to go to the Speed Museum in Louisville for a field trip, or the zoo for a field trip, or whatever. You really should provide your technical school clerks with a list of the technical school kids that are going to be out on that field trip. They need to know which kids are not going to be in their building and for what reason. So those are the kind of communication things that you guys need to work out. If you don't have any type of communication plans with your attendance clerks at the technical school right now, I would suggest that you reach out to them and talk to them about certain scenarios. What are we going to do in this case? What are we going to do in that? Because I'm not going to sit here and dictate and tell you guys what you all have to do as far as that goes. And one of the reasons why is because I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of schools that I have to help on a daily basis, and I don't have time for micromanagement. You guys know your schools. You know the dynamics of your schools. Every school is different as far as how you all take attendance, how the times of the day, what methods you all use. Do you take attendance before they get on the bus? Do you wait until they get to the technical school? It's different everywhere. So it would be impossible for me to tell you all. I can give you all suggestions, but I feel like you guys should communicate with one another to work out the details on how you're going to work out certain situations. But if you have questions and you want opinions or advice, I really don't mind ever giving any type of advice on what your scenario. So please let me know that. But just realize you really should be communicating with your technical school. Okay, I got a question. Would it be okay to allow the home high school to post those field trips in IC on our side if our district gave them rights? So are you a technical school person asking this question? Okay. So would it be okay to allow the home high school to post those field trips in IC on our side? Yes, if you want to give your attendance clerk rights to log into the technical school database to do stuff like that, that is up to you. That's between you guys. You work that out together. But I will say this. That really would only work if you are just if you only service one high school. If you're a technical school that only services one high school, because if you service more than one high school, then you've got other kids in your database that attendance clerk cannot see because of FERPA laws. Okay, so if you service just one district, then yes, you can do that, and that shouldn't mess anything up. But I will tell you another way that it can be done is if the attendance clerk at the high school goes ahead and enters that field trip information in, it will show up on the KTS attendance report. And if they enter it in and they put in the comments field trip, then all the technical school has to do is run this report and see which kids are on a field trip. They could do that in advance. So that's another way that it can be done. But you guys could work that out and say, okay, every time we have field trips, I'm going to put them in advance. And, if you want a list of those kids, you can pull the KTS attendance report. Good questions.
Tanya, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
Just a quick question. I'm just bogged down on this issue, and I apologize. It's probably a user error on my part.
No, you're fine. You guys.
But my question is, if I'm a junior in high school and I've got a class at the vocational school, which is on my campus,
Mm-hmm.
I walk out of the high school and I get in my car and I just drive off.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
It seems like it could be a significant delay before anyone on campus knows I'm gone. Whereas in the regular high school, because they post attendance and it goes right to my attendance clerk, I know 5 minutes after the bell rings that somebody's gone. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. And
So,
that can be a dilemma. I know that, we do have some high schools on here that may have experienced that. Do you have any suggestions for Tim? If you do have any suggestions, feel free to unmute and make those suggestions or type them in. But I will tell you that that's where the communication comes into play. So if you want to sit down with your technical school clerk, and because it sounds to be like your technical school is just on the same campus.
that's correct.
Okay.
But we do not have an attendance clerk at my technical school. My high school attendance clerk is the attendance clerk for both buildings.
Well, there is a secretary at your technical school, and she is in charge of maintaining attendance.
Okay.
So that's who you need to make contact with. But since your school, in your situation, your technical school is on your campus.
Correct.
So you guys definitely need to sit down and say, what are we going to do to prevent, Johnny from hopping in his car and going to Dairy Queen, and not coming back, or getting in an accident and us not know it, or whatever. So you can, there's several, you can set time limits. When that happens, you can say we need teachers to post attendance within, 5 minutes after class starts, so we can check the classroom monitor. The KTS attendance report. You could say that you want the students to sign in as soon as they walk through the door at the technical school, and then that way, and then maybe the clerk at the technical school could go ahead and just manually put that information in there for you. We can brainstorm on some ways that you can do it. The majority of the attendance clerks that I deal with, they put their kids on the bus, and they have them sign a sign out sheet when they get on the bus or whatever, and then when they get to the school, then they account for them that way. But maybe you want to make them sign out before they go over to the technical school. I'm not sure if you just let them walk out the door and go, if you're just saying, okay, it's time for you to go to your tech center, and you just walk out the door and go. Maybe you can tell them that instead of doing that this year, you have to go through the office and sign out before you walk across to the technical center.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate your help.
Yeah, I hope that helps a little. Okay. So, methods of entering and modification. Obviously, you know that you can enter, once you have the information, it has to be entered. Once you have the information as far as the attendance goes for the technical school, it has to be entered into your high school infinite campus database, unless you decide to do the unknown attendance sync. And like I said earlier, we'll get to that a little bit later. But this is just assuming that you do not do the unknown attendance sync. So you have to manually enter attendance in for your students. These are all the different ways that you can manually do it. My suggestion is to use the attendance wizard. I recommend building an ad hoc query that will filter out your technical school students, and then using the attendance wizard to enter those students. So to build an ad hoc query specific for your technical school students, I have a document underneath the user resources heading on the KTS Data Exchange webpage called Technical Student Ad Hoc Query. So we're going to open that because I do want to show you this will work for you, but I need to show you there's some modifications that need to be made that you're aware of. I probably should update this document and send it out to you guys after I've updated it, but just so you know, this is the technical student ad hoc query. It will group all your technical students in one filter for you, and you can use this filter in your attendance. I've got some feedback. Just want to make sure that I mute everybody. Okay. All right. So this walks you through. You have to go to ad hoc reporting and filter designer, and you would select the query wizard and then select student. Now this is just a basic query. I've got somebody that I can hear myself in the background. It's probably somebody that's on the phone. So can you make sure that you mute your phone, please? Let me see if I can figure out who it is. It's somebody with 606-723 number. Because I don't think it's going to let me. Oh, it let me. Never mind. Okay. All right. So if you've never used ad hocs before, you have to have the rights to create ad hocs and use them. So if you don't have the rights, if you don't see under your index, if you don't see ad hoc reporting, then contact your system administrator, Infinite Campus system admin, to get them to add that for you. So then you would create the query name, and then you would select your fields. So I'm gonna, I know this is a little difficult to see on the screen, but I'll do one for you here in just a couple seconds, but just let me get through this document. Okay, and then you go down and look for your tech ID number. Now this document says a 3-digit number, and it's actually 2, and that's what I wanted to make sure you understand. It is a 2-digit number now. So, and the link for this is probably invalid, and I apologize for this, but we've been updating documents. So I'll show you where you can go to find the tech ID number for your technical school. Under the System Administrator Setup heading, locate a document called the KTS School ID Numbers. Click on that document, and it's going to bring a listing up of all the technical schools in the state of Kentucky. Locate your technical school. So let's say you're looking for, you send your kids to Carroll County, ATC. So your tech ID number is 10. So when I go back over to the ad hoc query, when I start to build it, that's the number I need. So in these fields, you select the fields, and you're going to, in the operator, you want to select starts with, and then this value is where you enter that 2-digit tech ID number, 10. And what this is going to do is it's going to single out all the students that attend a technical school in your school, in your high school, and then you'll be able to use that in the attendance wizard. So I'm going to show you how you're going to be able to do that. And to do that, I'm going to log into the sandbox, to my sandbox. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to show you how to build that query. So under Index, you go to Ad Hoc Reporting, Filter Designer, and then select Query Wizard and Student, and Create. And hang on a second. oops. Okay, and so then from here, you're going to name your query, whatever you want to name it. Let's say we want to name it Barron County Tech Kids or Students or whatever. And then you will pull in you will locate the fields that you need. You can search down through here by clicking on the plus button and selecting the fields, or you can type in, I've got the fields listed here on this document for you, so you can type in the name of the field. So I'm going to do last name, search. And so what this does is it kind of narrows it down for you a little bit. So I'm going to go to demographics, and I know that this is the one that I need for student last name. And then I'm going to locate first name. I can even type in the whole thing, student first name, and let me see if that pulls it up. No, it doesn't. Okay. So then now I'm going to do first name. And under demographics, here's the first name field. And then now I'm going to look for the course number. And that's actually going to be under, let's see, it's going to be under learner, course. You just have to kind of play, yep. So it's going to be under learner, schedule, course section, and then you select the course number. All right? And so now you hit the next button to go to the next spot. And then this is where I've got my fields here, and for the operator of the course section, I'm going to say starts with, and this is where I'm going to put my tech ID number. So I know that for Barron County, that's 00. And then I'm going to save it. I can save it. When I save it here, it saves to my user account. If I had any folders, or if I wanted to attach it to a user group, I could. But I'm going to save this one to my account. The benefits of attaching it to the user group are that you can share it with other people that are in the same group. But then other people can also modify as well, so you want to be careful of that. All right, so now let's see, hang on, because yeah, okay, so this should work. Let me save and test and see what happens. This is a test site, and so sometimes it gets a little finicky and it doesn't pull the information that I need, but it will work in your database. But because this is a test site, sometimes it gets a little weird. But anyways, so then you would go, once you have that built, then you would go to Index, Attendance, and Attendance Wizard. Okay, so let's say you've already run your KTS attendance report, and you have it sitting in front of you, and you need to mark your students that are showing on the report. You need to mark that they are absence unexcused. So what you can do is you can use that ad hoc filter that you just built, and then you would hit search, and it would pull a list of the students that meet that criteria. Because I'm in the test site, it's not going to pull that list. So let me do this a different way so I have somebody in here. Okay. And then once you've pulled the ad hoc, and you have all the students that are going to be in that ad hoc populating in this box, then you can go through and select the ones that are showing up on your attendance report as absent. So you can just go down through and use your control click or your shift click to select all the students that you see on that KTS attendance report. Then you would go down to number 3 and mark them whole day, absence, unexcused. And make your selection if you want to overwrite, if you want to put any comments in there, whatever you want. So you're going to add attendance and then save. And so now, and I mean, it's taken me a little longer because I've been explaining it to you, but it would probably take you less than 3 minutes to pull this ad hoc filter, go down through the list, and highlight all the students that are in your that are on that KTS attendance report, and then make them unexcused absence. So that way you're not going in and going to each student's record and making them absent. I know that a lot of you are also doing it from the classroom monitor, and because it bugs you to see these red not turn green, but you really don't have to do it that way. You do not have to go in and turn these green yourself. You don't have to go in here and into each section and mark each student absent like that. You can simply just use the attendance wizard to mark the students absent that you need absent on that report. Then you mark them unexcused. Usually, I mean, when I was an attendance clerk a long time ago, I would mark all of mine unexcused absences. And then as they turned in notes, then I would go back in and excuse them, and for whatever reasons. Okay, I've got a question. Under our attendance code, we don't have anything to drop down. Is that because we're not in school? That is correct. That's what makes it really hard to train you guys over the summer, and that's why I have to go into my sandbox test site, because I had to kind of fake it like I had school in session. But yeah, that is because it's probably because of that. And also, it might be because, check to see with your system administrator to make sure that they rolled your attendance codes forward, because sometimes they forget to roll those forward. And so that's located, you might not be able to see it, but that's under System Administration, Attendance codes. And so you should have all your attendance codes should be here. But if they weren't rolled forward in the calendar, they won't be here. You have to roll them forward. So if you're not seeing attendance codes, check for that. But I can actually check for you real quick. What school are you from? Sharon, are you there? Okay. Well, Sharon, are you a technical school clerk or from the high school? Okay. What's your technical school? I'll check to see if those have been rolled forward. Oh, you're different, I know. Okay, so you're at Hardin County, is that right? Okay, all right. So let me check real quick. I can check that. Does anybody have any questions about how you can mark all your students' absence, really quickly and using the wizard? I know that I may have some brand new attendance clerks. All right. Okay, so I've got your early college and career center here, and just let me take a peek and see if you've got attendance codes. No, you don't. So get with your Infinite Campus person and tell them you need them to ask them to copy the same codes from the high school to your EC3. And they can do it really easy by going to Excuse Code Copier, and they can say that they want the source to be Hardin Central or whatever, and I mean, it's real easy to do, and it doesn't take but just a minute, but I can't do it because I don't have rights to your all's database like that. Excuse me. Okay. So other ways that you can, okay, but we have 3 different schools and they all have different codes. Okay. I mean, that's fine. You can, I would just tell them, pick the one that you want them to copy them from, and then if you want to have them add additional ones for you, you can ask them to add codes to yours, you know, whatever code you need in order to accommodate the other schools, if that's what you want. But these are the codes that I was telling you about that do not show on the KTS attendance report. They just don't populate. You only see AU or AE. Excuse me. Okay, so most of you all know that you can also enter attendance by using through the classroom monitor, through the daily attendance screen, and the attendance tabs. So those are other ways that you can enter attendance. But to me, the quickest, easiest way that you're going to get attendance entered at the high school for these students is to create your ad hoc query and use the attendance wizard. All right, this goes on to tell you that for these technical school courses, your classroom monitor, they will always stay pink unless you go in there and save them yourself. And there is really no reason for you to do that unless it just annoys you. But you know, I know that there are some attendance clerks that you have been going directly into the classroom monitor and clicking on the section and taking attendance that way, and that has got to take forever. So try out the attendance wizard method using your ad hoc filter to see if that doesn't help cut down on some time for you. You can also go to the daily, if there's attendance already entered, you can go to the daily attendance tab or daily attendance area and modify attendance that way. But and then this goes on to talk about the technical school ad hoc query that we just went over. And then this talks about the attendance wizard. Okay. And changing unknowns to excused. So this is where we talked about, you know, the technical school is not required to change their unknown attendance to excused absences unless they choose to do so. But I know that you guys do. Excuse me. But if your technical school does validate or reconcile their attendance, then you will see the AUs or the AEs showing up on the KTS attendance report. Now, let me go down through here. You can always also update student attendance on the student attendance tab. But now I want to talk about the the syncing of unknown attendance. So let me go down through here because, okay, here we go. This is an optional feature. It's not something that you have to do at a high school, and you can also test it out to see how it works, and if you don't like it, you can always turn it off. But basically what happens is the technical school will take attendance. Today is Thursday. The technical school takes attendance. You monitor attendance through the KTS Attendance Report. Tonight, the KTS Data Exchange will pick up all unknown attendance at the technical school and sync it to your high school and drop it into your high school database as unknown attendance. The next morning, tomorrow, Friday, you as a high school attendance clerk will log in to your attendance wizard, search for previous day unknown attendance, and resolve it and make it unexcused absences. Then, as you know, kids have bring in their excuses, then you can excuse them. The benefits of the KTS Unknown Attendance Sync is that you don't have, it really cuts down on your manual data entry, and it cuts down on human error. So you're not sitting have to look at a tiny report and maybe, maybe there were some mistakes or whatever. A disadvantage of using this is that it is a day behind. So you would have to realize that your technical school students are not going to show up on your daily attendance reports during that day. It'll be the next day. So this is going over it again. This is just telling you that it's unknown attendance from the technical school. So if your technical school resolves their attendance or however validates it, if they do that, then that attendance does not sync. So if they go in at the technical school side and mark their students' absence unexcused, that attendance will not sync to you. It's only the yellow unknown attendance that syncs to you. It will not overwrite attendance that is already at the high school. So let's say that you knew Susie was going to be out and you marked her absence unexcused or absence excused in your database. The technical school has her as an unknown absence. The sync happens and it sees that you already have an attendance record in there, and it will not overwrite what you already have in your records. And then just keep in mind the classroom monitor will not reflect that technical schools have taken previous day attendance. So what you would do is the next day you would receive, come in and open up your attendance wizard and do a search for previous day unknown attendance, and it would pull up a list of all of the students that are showing previous day, and then you would just resolve those. To turn this feature on, let me show you. So to turn the feature on, your system administrator will have to do it, and that's under System Administration, Resources, School. Your system admin would select your school and then scroll down towards the bottom of this first area, and you'll see a button that says Synchronize Tech Center Attendance. Checking the button will turn the syncing process on. So check the button and save. To turn it off, go back and uncheck the button and save. So what you could do is try it out. for a week to see how it works. And if you like it, you can keep that button checked, and you can just process your attendance that way. Or you can, if you don't like it, you can uncheck it and go back to the previous way that you've been doing attendance. It's not going to hurt anything either way, because whatever syncs to you is only going to be unknown attendance, and that unknown attendance is never going to overwrite what you already have in your database. Do I have any questions? Do you think there will ever be an enhancement to have all attendance types sync? So we talked about that, and the reason why we can't do that is because everybody has different attendance codes, and everybody, puts in their different codes, and there's just really no way to write for Infinite Campus to write something that will sync it all like that. It would take forever. And the syncing process is already a huge process. Ideally, in my perfect world, I would love it if as soon as a teacher posted attendance in the technical school, maybe like the system synced it over to the high school in some magical way. But according to the computer experts and the Infinite Campus programmers, that can't happen, because then you would have data syncing during the day when you guys are trying to enter regular information. And it's not just attendance information that it would affect. It would affect everything in your database, and it would cause some type of a bottleneck and cause your database to slow down. And so we don't want you all to lose any type of productivity in your database during the day while school's going. So that's why we can't have attendance syncing during the day. But as far as anything other than unknown, we can't. And here's another reason why, Kim. Another reason why is because we know that with unknown attendance, you guys can accept that in your high school database and resolve it, and turn it into whatever code you want to turn it in. But if the technical school makes Susie absent unexcused, but you had her absent excused, and it overwrote yours, then we would start getting into some issues where it's overriding high school data. And remember what I said in the very beginning, that ultimately the high school is the authoritative source for attendance. So that means that you guys at the high school are the ones that actually submit your final attendance for state reporting, and we don't want to overwrite any of that. We don't want to. So we had to come up with the best way to do it, and the best way that we could all brainstorm is to only sync unknown attendance and allow the attendance clerk to resolve to the codes that they want. And it gives you all more control. So I know that was a long explanation, but I hope that helps. Any other questions about attendance for the technical schools, how to enter it, how to the unknown attendance sync, how to do the ad hoc report, any scenarios you want to give me? I'm here for you guys. If you don't have anything, that's pretty much all I have for you. If you have questions, you can always email me. That's the quickest way to get a hold of me. But, I mean, I know a lot of you probably won't have certain scenarios until school starts and your database is actually up and running. I would encourage you to try the unknown attendance sync. A lot of high schools are scared to do it because they don't, they're already stressed out enough as it is doing attendance every day. I know, like I said, I used to be an attendance clerk. So you're stressed out enough and you've got enough responsibility as it is, and the last thing that you want to do is have to fix a bunch of stuff. So I know that it can be a little scary, but I really do suggest, trying out this unknown attendance sync. If you want to wait until, like, say, sometime in September after school started and things have kind of settled down, and test it out, and then just do me a favor, if you do try it, send me an email and let me know what you thought about it. Even if you decide to go back, I'd like to know, and your feedback helps me, because then I can take those suggestions to Infinite Campus, and so we can try to make your lives even better as far as attendance goes. Can you provide recordings of this session for training other users? Yes, I have recorded this session, so as soon as I can process them, probably won't be until sometime next week, then I will post them and send the links out. You're welcome, Sid. Any other questions, comments? If not, that's all I have for you guys. I will stick around on here for a few more minutes, just in case you have something you want to ask. And other than that, thank you for joining me, and you'll have a good rest of your summer. Thanks, Tanya. I appreciate it. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Melinda.